What is up, everyone? How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. I'm just chilling outside in my backyard here in Lubbock, Texas. I thought I'd do a little year in review video for you guys. A year in 2020. And just do a little recap video for you guys. Hope everyone had a wonderful 2022. I know I sure did. You know, I went to more places than I've ever been to before. Did more things. Was just always on the go, and it was a pretty good year. And I appreciate everyone who followed along on this journey with me. Man, I grew my channel over 100,000 subscribers this year, and that's freaking amazing. I can't believe it. So what I want to do in this video is just answer a few questions that you guys had for me, and just kind of do a recap of 2022 and just kind of wrap it all up, and then we can look forward to 2023 because I'm excited about that. I'm excited to get back to Southeast Asia. I'm excited to go back to Indonesia, Malaysia, and to see more places. You know, I have my plans. I have plans to go to Sri Lanka. I have plans to go to the Philippines, Thailand, Laos. I want to do all that next year, and of course, I'll be bouncing back to and from Malaysia and Indonesia quite a bit too. So I asked a question on the YouTube community page, just kind of saying, hey, if you have anything you want to ask me, let me know. And so let's just go ahead and just jump right in. I think a recap type video would be great. You could choose the 10 best moments, the 10 best cities you like, etc. I'll do that in another video. For this video, I'm just going to just keep it simple, and doing a top 10, that would be its own video by itself, I think. So I'll wait on that one. Let's see, if you could pick and edit certain episodes or scenes eventually for a recap documentary in which you recognize your message to your audience, which ones would it be? In which you recognize your message to your audience, which ones would it be? What does that even mean? Also, questions about your motivation for becoming a YouTuber earlier asked by some are interesting. Okay, my motivation for becoming a YouTuber, this doesn't have anything to do with 2022, but I'll go ahead and answer it. Basically, I lived in Japan for a long time, 11 years. I had done the same job for a long time. I still love that job, but it was time to do something else in my life, something more challenging, and so I decided to, quit my job, sell everything, buy a camera, and travel the world. Kinda. I actually did YouTube in Japan for a couple of years. I really started YouTube during COVID. なんだキノコ仕事。
そう、キノコね。
キノコある？
キノコまだないよ。
あ、まだない。
そう、今これ倒して、で、キノコ菌を植えんの。
なんか椎茸？
椎茸と、あと平茸、あと栗茸、いろいろ
種類だ。When during the lockdown, I couldn't travel and move around as much in Japan as I used to, and so I started making YouTube videos in Japan, and I really enjoyed it. And all my favorite YouTubers are travel vloggers, and I just thought, hey, maybe that's something I could do. I was looking for a change in my life, looking for a challenge, and so I'm glad I did. It's been quite a journey so far, so I'm hoping I can continue it. And yeah. Also, why did you choose for Indonesia, and did it meet your expectations? Absolutely. I just thought Indonesia would be a good place to start. I had already been to Bali 2 or 3 times already, and I had a good friend, Ibnu, who I knew from Indonesia, who I'd met in Japan, and I've seen a lot of other travel vloggers, like I said earlier, and Indonesia just seemed the most interesting, and maybe the most, it was very affordable, I think is the right word to use. I could get around and I could move around Indonesia at a pretty low cost, and I could see a lot of things, and I don't think a lot of people realize just how big Indonesia is, and so there's quite a few places to go see. I went all the way from Sumatra to Maluku this year. I saw Java and Bali, and that's just barely scratching the surface. I mean, there are just so many places to see in Indonesia, and so it looks exciting. You know, you look at a map of the world and particularly Indonesia, and you just see how many places there are to go. And yeah, I could just do Indonesia, honestly, but I really do want to see other places. And next year, I will focus more of my attention on that. But like I said, I'll be bouncing back and forth through Indonesia, so don't worry. Let's see here. Another question. What do you think about Indonesia? Nature, people, culture, habits, and the others. What do you like and dislike for Indonesia? Indonesia, the nature, the diversity, all the cultures, the people, just like I just mentioned. I mean, there are so many different places to go, and every place that you do go, there's a different, sub-ethnic group, and there's a different type of people that speak a different language, have different cultures, have a different history, eat, different types of food. And so everywhere you go, you're just learning new things and seeing new things, and it's pretty fun and exciting, honestly. And so one question, Nick, when and where will you make a special vlog with someone special? It must be a very interesting vlog. It must be a very interesting vlog. Yeah, that will be a very interesting vlog, and next year, that is the plan. So at the tail end of my trip, I did meet somebody and who I do think is very special. And so we plan on doing some traveling next year together. And so you will meet her and we will do some traveling. So that's all I'll say about that. So look forward to that. Another one. Maybe I want to ask your opinion about the taste of Indonesian food. It's very spicy. So far, what kind of Indonesian food do you like and dislike? And what is your first impression of Indonesian culture and the people here? Wow, it's kind of a loaded question. Let's see here. The Indonesian food, it's pretty good. I like, I'm American. I like pizza and hamburgers, and, I like Mexican food. I really love Japanese food. The thing with Indonesian food, I just feel like it's not very healthy, and it seems like I eat a lot of the same things over and over again. It's good, but I just feel like sometimes the variety isn't there. And so, everything seems to be deep fried. The vegetables, the chicken, everything is just thrown in the fryer. And so, it's good, but, tempeh, the tofu, everything is fried. And so that can get a little old, honestly. The sambal is usually really, really spicy. And I've gotten more and more used to it. I think my spice tolerance has definitely gone up, especially coming back here. I will go and eat Mexican food or something that's supposed to be spicy, and everyone's like, oh, man, this has a lot of heat to it. And I'm like, really? Like, this ain't nothing, really. Like, I just had a green chili, spicy linguine pasta for lunch, and on the menu it had a bomb next to it indicating that it's supposed to be really spicy, and I could not tell at all, honestly. And so definitely being in Indonesia and eating all the spicy food, my tolerance has definitely gone up, but I still get the hiccups. I still get the hiccups. Good question. What is your first impression of Indonesian culture and the people here? Man, people are warm and welcoming in Indonesia. People here, when I'm back home, people are like, oh, when you're walking around by yourself, are you scared? Are you afraid? And to be honest, not really. I've only met really kind people and nice people. I'm not saying that there are people out there, bad actors and people who might want to do harm to me, but, everyone just says, hey, boule, mister. And, they just have been really kind to me. I don't do a lot of vlogging at night. That's one thing I don't want to do. I do a lot of my jalan-jalan during the day, and I just try to be smart about it. I don't go out drinking. I don't go get drunk, and that's a good way to get into trouble and to lose things, and just to put yourself in situations that you shouldn't and you don't want to be in. And so I just try to be smart about it and be conscious of my surroundings at all times. Smile at people, wave to people, talk to people, and yeah, it's not a scary place out there. If you're a foreigner, or if you're an American or a Westerner thinking about going to Indonesia or somewhere else, especially Americans. Americans think that the outside world is terrifying, and so yeah, let's just move on real quick. No complaints or questions, Sensei. Always waiting for your vlog, solo traveling version. Thank you, Latif. Let's see, how about best discovery surprise? For example, something that you only had moderate expectations for, but turned out to be much better. Okay. The one that really comes to mind immediately is my trip to Nadas. And I didn't have any expectations for Nadas being as awesome as it did. I just wanted to go to Bromo. I was in Batu before that. I was in Malang where I met Funny. And Funny linked me up with one of the elders in Nadas, and I stayed there. And I only reserved my place at Pak Kartono's place in Nadas for 2 days. And I ended up staying for 11. And so, I would say that definitely exceeded expectations. Once I got there and I just saw the people and I saw the village and I just saw how nice everything was there and how nice the people were, and it was just in a beautiful place too. I don't know if you guys remember the kitchen from the guest house that I stayed at was one of the most beautiful sights in the world. Check out the view from this kitchen. The best view of any kitchen in the world, right here.
Best view.
Look at that. Just looking right out the kitchen, you had this beautiful view. And the people there were so nice. Pak Kartono, treated me like his son almost. And they let me go to all the rituals and the festivals and everything that they had going on there. And I got to learn about the circumcision celebrations and the Kuda Lumpings, and he drove me around all the potato farms. And if you're listening to this going like, what the hell are you talking about? Go back and check out my Nadas videos. Those are some of my favorites, and that is by far the place that I think exceeded expectations. Yeah, for sure. Let's see. I was going to ask the opposite. Was there something that wasn't quite as good as expected, but that one could be controversial? I know what you mean. I don't want to, I have subscribers from all over Indonesia now, and I don't want to be like, well, I went to, for example, K, or I went somewhere and it was just terrible. I'm not saying K was, but, I've enjoyed everywhere I've gone. But I would say the one place that it wasn't a place, it was an event that didn't live up to what I had in mind and what I was expecting, and that was just the Independence Day celebrations. I didn't get to see all the fun and crazy, silly games that a lot of Indonesians do. And so, sure, it was fun. I was in Jember with Ibnu, and we got to see the fashion festival parade, and it's always a good time going to Ibnu's house and hanging out with him and his mom and hanging out in Bagorejo and doing all that. I love going on the little adventures with Ibnu every day, and that is always fun. But I did get to see a little bit of the games with the kids when they were hopping around in the potato sacks, and maybe there's always next year. Obviously, there's always next year, but I didn't get to see as much as I'd like. So, okay, why did you choose Indonesia after you left Japan instead of going back to the States? Was there any particular reason? Well, I didn't go back to the States because I don't want to live in the States. Yeah, I don't know. It's my home. It's where I grew up. It's where my family is. It's where a lot of my old friends are. But I just don't see myself living here. The world is pretty exciting out there, and I want to go see it. Let's see here. How about some creepy times, if any, or perhaps odd ones? I think the creepiest was not necessarily this past year. Was there any creepy ones? For sure, I think the creepiest place I've stayed at was the hotel in Bali, where I was staying by, God, I forget the name. I was staying by a lake, and I had literally like an 18 bed room, like 2 rooms, but like 18 beds, hostel all to myself. The restaurant on the first floor was closed, and the guys literally gave me the key and said, "Here you go. Here's the hostel. Good luck." I mean, there was no staff, there was nobody, and I was staying in this room that had like 12 beds in it, and it was creepy, and I did not like it at all, and so I stayed one night there, and I got the hell out of there. So that was probably the creepiest place I've ever stayed. Please encourage Indonesia people to keep environment clean, since you have a lot of Indonesian viewers. Yes, just dispose of your trash properly. That's all I could say. Just think that if you throw it down on the ground, somebody else has to pick it up for you. So, being back here in the States, we are very wasteful too. If you followed any of my stories, we use way too much styrofoam, and even if we do throw it away, let me show you real quick while we're here. So I'm in my backyard. It looks much better than this in the summertime. This is obviously a summer home because we have the pool, and in the wintertime everything just dies. But let me just show you what we do and how we dispose of our trash. So this is what's called an alley, and not all places in America have alleys, but a lot of places do. It's basically kind of a dirt road that goes in between 2 of the main streets. And so this is the backside of, another person's house, and then there's the road on the other side, right? And then it's just divided by this dirt road, like I said. We try to keep ours somewhat clean. We have grass here. Some alleys look really, really bad. This isn't too terrible. In the summertime, we use this to grow vegetables. But again, it's wintertime. But this is where you throw away your trash here in my city. And it might be like this in a lot of other places too. But you would go out here. Here's a dumpster. Boom. And they're clean right now because maybe somebody came and, there's a dump truck that comes maybe twice a week and just takes the trash. It'll pick that thing up and dump it in the back of the truck. And in a lot of ways, you can just throw whatever you want in there. Anything you can think of. You don't have to divide your trash. And so that goes somewhere, goes to a landfill, and it just sits there, right? And so, we all have our issues when it comes to dealing with trash. I think, unfortunately, with Indonesia, a lot of it is in your face. A lot of it you just see when you're out and about. You just see it. I mean, I've been in places where I'll just see somebody just dumping trash outside their window, like into a creek or into a runoff or something from that goes into the ocean, and it just that kind of stuff kind of blows your mind. It's getting kind of chilly. I mean, it might look warm here, but my hands are getting kind of cold. And let's keep going. Let's keep moving. After experiencing some of the worst and best travel vlog in Indonesia, would you consider to live in Indonesia or invest for living in Indonesia? How much battery do I have? Let's see here. That's a good question. Right now, I'm not looking to live anywhere, honestly. I like traveling light. I like what I'm doing. I just want to move. I just want to go see as many places as I can. The one place that kind of did strike me as being a place that I could live was maybe Toba, honestly. Lake Toba and some of those places around there, around Tuk Tuk, was just chill and beautiful, and the lake is just, really is beautiful, and I could maybe see myself living in a place like that. And so there's a video of yours that scared me when I watched it, Nick, and the video was when you did cupping therapy in Jember. Did you feel pain or not during the therapy? Yeah, excuse me, I got the burps. When Ibnu's brother-in-law did the cupping on my back and like the blood comes up, what's it called? Bakum or something like that. I actually didn't know he was doing that. I just thought he was going to be like a cupping. I didn't realize blood was going to come out. And so that was kind of a surprise, but a lot of times you got to roll with it, and it just felt funny. It didn't really hurt, and it makes you really stiff. It feels like your whole back is tight, and then when he releases the cups, it's like and like all the tension goes away. We love you, Nick. I love you too, man. I appreciate all you guys watching this video and following me on this journey this year. And yeah, it means a lot. It means a lot. From your opinion, what is the worst and the best of Indonesian people? And do you have a suggestion for that? Did I already answer that? The best, you guys are kind and warm and generous, and everywhere I go, people invite me into their homes, into their kitchens. They're kind to me. The worst, I would say, again, I don't know, the thing that pops into my mind is just figuring a way to throw away your trash better. I've been walking, I'll be on a scooter behind an ant cot, and you just see trash being thrown out the ant cot. So, again, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but let's see. Man, I need to work on my Indonesian, that's for sure. The next question is in Indonesia, but Nick, you are English teacher in Japan for 11 years. Would you to be English teacher too in Indonesia? As my job, to be honest, no. But I do like when I do have the opportunity to go to schools and, maybe have a volunteer lesson here or there. I do still enjoy that, and, that's something I want to do when I'm back. And so if I have the opportunity wherever I'm at in any city to go visit kids and maybe do a free lesson sometime, sure. For now, I like what I'm doing, so I'm going to keep doing it. Nick, why would you choose the life that you chose? Do you enjoy it? I just feel like I answered that. Yes, I do enjoy it, and I can't wait for next year. I can't wait to go to more places. I've never had this sense of freedom ever in my life where, if I get bored with a place, if I get restless somewhere, then I can just be like, all right, let's look on, Google Flights, and let's look at a map and just kind of see where I want to go. And I've really enjoyed it. I've loved learning about Indonesia and its history, and then not only just learning about it, but then going to the places and seeing it with your own eyes. And so it's been really fun and interesting, and I've really enjoyed it. What is your favorite food in Indonesia, Nick? Satay. I love satay. I love a good satay. I love rendang. I think my favorite dish was probably pak mantos in Solo, the sate kambing, and no, it wasn't sate kambing. It was some kind of goat, but the sauce that they used, the barbecue sauce, was friggin' delicious. So, which country would you most like to visit and why? Man, India is probably on that list as number one next year. I would love to go to India, and I just feel like it's another world. Indonesia in a lot of ways was a good place to go to after Japan, because it is so different from Japan. It's just so lively and active and raw, and just it's just something to see and do every single day. And so, and I think India would be like Indonesia times 10. And so, that's really where I want to go. And I love Indian food. I love curry. So that's where eventually I'll end up next year sometime, I think. When was your tipping point that you considered YouTuber as your main job? So I think it finally hit me that, wow, I think I can do this as my job and it be sustainable. Probably in May. I had just gotten back from my Java trip. I flew back to Indonesia in March. I was on a business visa, and so I think I had 2 months before I had to get back to Bali and go to my travel agency and get my renewal application process started. And so I spent time in Jakarta, Bandung, Semarang. I went to, did I do Nadas already? I forgot, but I'd gone to Bali, and I was finally getting to my Bandung videos, and the Jakarta videos all done, and I had honestly my best month on YouTube even to this day. And I can remember just sitting on the beach watching the sunset and looking at my analytics on my phone and looking at my revenue for that month and just being like, wow, I did it. You know, it was so rewarding, and it was just a moment where I thought, I can do this. You know, I can travel, I can make videos, I can go places, and this could be my job. And so I wasn't making a ton of money, just to be clear, but it covered my expenses, it covered what I'm doing, and I wouldn't be struggling, you know. And so I think in May of this year, it finally hit me like, okay, if I hustle, if I try my best and I do this, then I can make this a reality. So what is your favorite place in Indonesia? Man, there's so many. Like I said, Nadas was a good place. Banda Nera is up there. Toba is definitely up there. You know, my Indonesian home will always be Jember with Ibnu. So there's many. I just have one question. Did you find someone special? I mean, in love. The next question. Did you find someone special during your visit to Indonesia? I did. Thank you for asking, dear. Top 3 best and worst hotel you stayed in. Oh, man. The worst, I think you guys already know. This might be a separate video also. My top 3 places I stayed, top 3 worst places. My place in Banda Nera, Alan's cottage at the foot of Gunung Api. Just magical place. That place was so cool. You know, the guest house in Nadas was nice. The worst obviously has to be the one in Bandung. No others really come to mind. I mean, I stay in a lot of budget hotels, and so a lot of places just aren't spectacular and they're not terrible. So you kind of get what you pay for. And so, most creepy, unexplainable moment when you traveled around Southeast Asia. I would say the Kuda Lumping in Nadas. Learning about black magic and how so many people in Indonesia believe in black magic and do it, not just believe in it, but like voluntarily subject themselves into being turned into a wild horse and, you know, put in a trance. And so that to me was, I lost my spot. That to me was really kind of crazy to learn and shocking in a lot of ways. You know, having that conversation with one of the participants in the Kuda Lumping after he did it, and him just explaining like, yeah, you know, you're in a dream-like state, and he doesn't have control over his body, and that to me was just really best food in terms of taste and price, and the worst food in Indonesia so far this year. I mean, the best food is just the street food that you can get, the sate ayam. I mean, the fruits are all so good in Indonesia. I mean, I tried so many different types of exotic fruits this year. A lot of them good, and a lot of them not the greatest. Manggis, I think, is by far my favorite. The birds are loving that food. Let's see here. The worst food I think I had was, you know, my best and worst dish was actually at the same place. Pak Manto in Solo. I went back-to-back days, and the second day I went there, I tried whatever their second most recommended thing is, or maybe their most recommended thing is, and it was terrible. You guys know what it is. It's the tingling, or whatever it's called, the bones. Like, it's literally just scraps of bones with barely any meat on it, and it's just drenched in the spiciest sauce I've ever had in my life. And I can remember just thinking, how is this, you know, how do people think this is good, or why do people like this? Like, it was not only just bones, but sharp bones. Like, every time you think you have meat or something, a bone would stab you in your mouth. And so I did not enjoy that meal at all. Honestly, that was, I would have to say, the worst meal for me, even though apparently it's very, very popular. Halo Nick, kapan rencana kamu kembali ke Indonesia? When do I have plans to go back to Indonesia? Like again, soon. Let's see. I really like your videos. Thank you, Erica. Please upload video when you take a bath at Evening's house. No censor. Ha ha. Not gonna happen. After spending 11 years in Japan, you suddenly turned towards Indonesia, and why you took so long? Why did it take so long? That's a good question. I enjoyed all my years in Japan, but this is something, I think everybody has that feeling when you do something and you enjoy it. You're like, dang, I wish I would have done it earlier. That's just life, I guess. Nick, apa kabar? Baik. Dan Anda? Some of the questions are in Indonesian. I apologize that I haven't studied more Indonesian. But, okay. A quick recap of 2022. Overall, it was amazing. It was great. The best year of my life. Can I say that? I mean, the most adventurous for sure, by far, obviously. I went to more places this year than in any other time in my life. And I'm just really excited for next year and to see where I go, see where this adventure goes, see where this channel goes. I hope each and every one of you continues to follow along. But yeah, thanks again. I appreciate all of you for, joining me on this journey. I'm going to wrap up this video, and that's going to be a wrap for 2022. Peace.